Hey guys, it's me again. And today I'm going to be giving you guys my final thoughts, as well as pretty much just an overall review of another right here. And real quickly, I want to apologize. I don't know if the lighting is bad for you guys too, but for me on my camera, it looks like it's really dark. I don't know why. It should be the same as normal. Nothing's different, but yeah, sorry about that if that is the case for you guys. But anyways, like I said, I'm doing my review on another. I finally got around to finishing it last night. I've been kind of busy, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to just sit down and read, but I finished it last night, and oh boy. Yeah, it sure was interesting to say the least. Yeah, if you haven't seen my first impressions video of this thing, check that out. I said in that I'm sure my opinions and stuff on it would change, and my thoughts on it would change. Yeah, that happened a lot. So back then, when I had first gotten into it, I had I was giving you guys the most basic, generic bits of information to help you guys understand what it's like without spoiling anything for you guys. So, and even with that, I'm sure it came off to at least a couple people. I could tell from people's comments. People understood what I was saying when I was talking about how it's pretty intense and it's so weird, and yeah, that didn't change throughout the story at all. If anything, it became more intense and way weirder. So yeah, I also said in my first impressions video that it's not for people that are easily disturbed or grossed out and stuff like that. Yeah, I said that back then, being like, okay, yeah, you know what, that's probably just a good precaution, because I'm sure at least someone would probably get weirded out by this. No, and now after I finished it, there are definitely people who would get weirded out by this. This, I don't know, this was almost, I think, a lot weirder and darker than a lot of horror movies I watch. I like to watch a lot of horror movies, those are cool. And I think this was a lot darker than a lot of those. So, yeah, if that tells you anything, good. Oh yeah, oh boy, yeah. This book is really great though. I still totally recommend it for everyone. Um, if you like plot twists, this series had at least, I don't even know, I kind of lost track after a while, but this series is full of those. So there's plenty of great plot twists and weird things like that, and all the way up until right until just about the end, there's tons. So you're never lacking in those. And if you're ever like, oh man, this is kind of calming down a bit, this is getting a little dull, okay, shut up. Just keep reading. If you're ever like that, just keep reading, and trust me, it's never dull for long, so don't worry about that. You're about to get your mind blown, so just keep reading, okay? Okay, so that's just a disclaimer for anyone who goes and reads this and decides, okay, Zeebs said that this was gonna be nonstop, intense, and all that. Trust me, if you think something's dull, you're wrong. Because it will lead into the big plot twists and the really just the moments packed with all sorts of horrifying and disturbing and great things. So yeah, don't worry about the story being boring. That won't happen if you just tell yourself, hey, this is happening for a reason. I just need to stick through for like another 5 minutes at most, probably, and then something cool will happen. 'Cause that's usually how it is. But anyway, yeah. Um, Again, I totally recommend this series. Again, if you can really call it that, it's only one book long, and it's this big, so it looks way smaller on camera. But when I first saw this thing in person, I have that on a manga review if you want to check that out. But yeah, this thing's absolutely huge, so don't let the fact that it's only one book fool you. It's at least as long as four. I've gone as far as to say seven before, but No, I'm thinking 4 might be closer to right. I don't know, but either way, it is very long. So if you're bothered by the fact that it's only one book, don't be. It's enormous. Um, but yeah, so it's only 20 bucks on Amazon, I think, is what I got for. So if you're interested in checking out the series, totally go for it. But anyways, I'm gonna start moving into spoilers here soon. So if you guys aren't here to watch and hear spoilers, then thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys next time. But if you do want to hear spoilers, then stick around. However, I must say this: don't stick around for spoilers if you haven't read the series, because this is not a series you want spoiled for you. This series is amazing, and I mentioned earlier there's a lot of plot twists. Don't have those ruined for you. They are so good. They are so just absolutely fantastic. You're gonna love them. So if you haven't read the series, sorry about that. Sounds like my dog died down there. Anyway, I don't think he did, so I won't worry about that too much. Hopefully I don't regret that. Oh boy, okay, but anyway. Yeah, so if you haven't read the series, please don't stick around for the spoilers. Please just go read the series and then come back. You'll thank me, trust me. But anyway, yeah, so, last time okay, I'm gonna try to give a very brief summary of this. Just because the last time I took like 20 minutes to explain the first couple chapters, and I don't want to do that again. So, I'm gonna go kind of fast with this, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on everything. Okay, so, the main character, Sakakibara, just moved into this new town. And we start off the story where he's in the hospital because his lung collapsed. So, while he's there, he meets this one girl. Her name's Mei Misaki. And she apparently goes to his school, he finds out, but she seems a little off, just because if you read the story you'll see. I don't want to go into too great of detail just because I don't want to waste all of our entire days, so I'll just keep going. But anyway, he meets her, and then he also meets a couple of other students from his school who come to tell him to get well. It's all good. Once he starts up school, he becomes friends with them. And, he's friends with them, he's friends with May, but whenever he's talking to May, things seem a little strange. People ask him stuff like, hey, why are you talking to things that aren't there, and hey, are you feeling okay? And just weird things like that. And so, he asks around, well, he notices there's a lot of things up. So, one day he's hanging out with her, and she tells him a story about his school, or their school, about how 26 years ago, a student named Misaki, not her, but a student named Misaki, died. And even though he died, everyone at the school kept going around about life like he was still there. They would still talk with him, they would still sit at his desk and all that. And at the end of the year, in the school photo for the yearbook, he was in it somehow. So, that started a long chain of events at their school for the third year class 3, and those events continue to this day, and that's kind of where we are now. So she tells him that story, and he goes and he talks with his aunt a bit because he knows his aunt went to that school, and she's also actually the assistant teacher for his class. So he's like, okay, if anyone knows, it'll be her. So he's talking with her. She doesn't remember a whole lot, but yeah, when if you think that's pretty important, remembering someone dying, that's not the weirdest thing about her memories and her at school and all that. Just trust me, it gets weirder. If you've read the series, you know what I'm talking about. So hopefully you have. But anyway, he goes about life as normal, a bit longer, and then one day he's at school and he's out in the hall talking with Misaki, and this girl runs out there because she's trying to, I can't remember what she's trying to do, but she sees them, and then she kind of freaks out because, Mei told Sakakibara before that to everyone else except him, she's not there. She exists, but not at school. No one else there knows, can see her, nothing like that. So that there's that, and so when this girl not only acknowledges her, but turns around and runs. She keeps running, and then she tries running down these stairs, but she trips and impales her throat on an umbrella. That feels great, I'm sure, but believe it or not, it killed her. Yeah, 'cause that happens. If you impale your throat in umbrellas, you die, usually. Who knows, maybe you've got like a steel throat or something, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so she dies. Fun. Anyway, yeah, so that's the first of many deaths. Or I feel like there might have been one before that, but if there was, it was really insignificant, I feel. But there might have been one, who knows. If there is and I'm forgetting it, I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, so she dies. And then not too long after, I think, I'm pretty sure like a couple days pass, and then people, Sakakibara's friends from school come and tell him, they're like, hey, now you remember one of the school's rules, and when they're talking about the rules, the school that they go to is very superstitious. You know, they have these things, if you don't follow them, you're supposed to have like super bad luck. And he reminds Sakakibara about this one that's, you have to always obey what the class says, and if you don't, bad things will happen. And so he tells him, we're gonna have to do something. You might not like it, but you have to promise you're gonna go along with it for the sake of the class. So Sakakibara, not knowing what they're talking about, he's like, oh, okay. And so he goes along with it. And it turns out what they meant by that is they're gonna pretend he doesn't exist either, because Mei Misaki apparently exists. Yeah. And they just pretend she doesn't, because the reason that the people are starting to die in their class, it's at least one per month, and the reason it's happening is because there's an extra person in their class at the beginning of the year. So by their broken logic, they're like, okay guys, there's an extra person in our class, so people are dying, what if we just pretend a person isn't there? Yeah, that makes sense. So they decide that they do that, and Mei Misaki just so happens to be the unfortunate person who isn't there, as far as they're concerned. So that's what happened. And they were like, okay, people are still dying. It's because Sakakibara was talking to her. He's not supposed to. No one's supposed to. She's not supposed to exist. So they're like, okay, wait a minute. How about we get rid of the only person who has acknowledged her existence by pretending he doesn't exist either? Their logic is pretty stupid, but in a weird way it almost makes sense. Yeah, so they do that, and nothing really changes for the most part. People keep dying, and Sakakibara finds out a lot more about the school and the history, and there's all sorts of strange stuff. But the next big thing I feel like I remember is, I'm probably forgetting a lot too, I feel like, but anyway, the next thing I remember really well is that he and a couple of his friends eventually end up finding a tape in the class, because they're researching, trying to find a way to stop this, because they learned from their librarian that one time before, a long time ago, someone actually managed to stop the events where someone dies, at least one person per month dies. Someone managed to stop it partway through a year before, one time. So they're trying to find out how they did that so they can do it. Because if you can stop people from dying every month, why wouldn't you? And that's a good thing to do. That makes you a good person, I think. So they're trying to do that. And they find this tape, a little cassette tape, stuck to their classroom ceiling. And, they can't play it at first, but later on oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, probably something I shouldn't have forgotten to mention. At one point, their teacher full out killed himself in front of everyone. Yeah, that's a casual thing. That happens at my school all the time. I know that. So nothing out of the ordinary there. He just pulls out a knife. He's like, he yells a bit, he screams some nonsense. He's like, okay, I'm gonna kill myself. So he stabs himself a bunch, and he dies. So yeah, just a normal day. Nothing too exciting. Sorry about wasting your time. I'm sure you guys are hoping something cool and important would actually happen, but no, it's just their teacher killing himself in front of everyone. But anyway, the assistant teacher, Sakakibara's aunt, becomes the normal main teacher there, so that happens. And then, like I said, Sakakibara and his friends find this tape. And they don't have a cassette player tape. Wait, a cassette tape player yet. There I go. But by the time that they go on this one trip that they're getting ready to go on, they do. And that trip is a camping trip for the whole class. And last time the class went on a camping trip is the same year that the deaths stopped happening halfway through. So they're hoping that maybe they can do something to reflect what happened then to stop the deaths again. And so while they're there, Sakakibara and his friends listen to the tapes. Well, to the one tape. That's all there is. And they find out how to stop it. And all they have to do is find out, because these deaths are caused, again, by an extra person. The extra person is someone who is already dead, but none of the students, no one in the school, not even the people's family, know they're dead. Not even the person knows they're dead, because everyone's memories are altered. So they don't remember the person's death. They think the person's still alive. So there's that person. Every year, they have no way of knowing who it is. But then, they find out that the way to stop all the stuff is to kill the extra person. And, yeah, so, they're just gonna kill someone. And so, they're trying to keep this under wraps, because obviously if people find out, hey, all we have to do to stop this is kill the extra person, this guy seems suspicious, let's kill him. And then, they find out, oh, that wasn't them, you say. Ooh. And, that kind of happens. This one guy, one of Sakakibara's friends, tries killing another one of their friends. He's like, okay, this is the extra person. No, it wasn't. Fortunately, he pulled through. But, no, he wasn't the extra person. And then this one girl, gets May alone, and it's just the two of them. And she's like, okay, May, I overheard your guys' conversation, and I'm here to kill you. You're the extra person, so I'm gonna kill you, okay? And May obviously doesn't like this idea, because May isn't the extra person, because May, using her doll's eye thing that I think her mom probably gave it to her, because her mom makes dolls. That's what she has under the eye patch right there. But she can use that to, all she can see with it is the color of death, as she put it. So if someone's dead or dying, she can see that color all around them. So she knows who the extra person is. She has the whole time, but she can't tell anyone. And so she's telling the girl, no, I'm not the extra person, trust me. And so the girl was like, nah, you are, don't worry. So she pulls out a knife and stabs May in the eye. Her glass eye, fortunately, her fake one, so it's not like she dies, but she does lose her eye, so she's missing an eye for like a good chapter and a half, maybe. So if you don't like just holes where eyes should be, maybe just skip those chapters, I guess. I don't know. I mean, actually, no, they're pretty important. So if you don't like that, don't read the whole thing, I guess, just because that's an important bit of the story. But anyway, while that happens, Sakakibara and everyone are outside trying to save their friend who almost got killed by their other friend, when they realize, hey, the building's on fire. So they run back, and they're like, oh, and he's like, oh crap, I need to make sure May's okay, because that's his friend, and he cares, because you should care about your friends. So he goes, he's trying to find her, and he finds her, she's okay, but she tells him, hey, you have to get out of here. If you stay, you're not gonna like it, you're not gonna like what you see. And he's like, no, it's okay, I'm gonna stay. And he notices there's someone stuck under burning rubble, there's their hands hanging out, and he's like, wait a minute, something's up with, there's a person right there. And she explains to him that that's the extra person, and she has a pickaxe, and she's about to kill the extra person. And the extra person, who's stuck under the burning rubble, pulls himself forward a bit to reveal that the extra person who has been dead the whole time was none other than Sakakibara's aunt, the assistant teacher. Yeah, she's been dead for 2 years. The story doesn't even take place over 1 year. She's been dead for 2. Yeah, and it's funny because earlier on in the story, Sakakibara's dad calls him once, or he calls his dad, I think it was, and he asks Sakakibara, he's like, so how's it feel to be back there after 1 year? And Sakakibara's like, wait a minute, I've never been here before, uh-oh. Yeah, he has been there before, for his aunt's funeral, but he didn't remember, because like I said, everyone's memories are altered, so now he remembers, he's like, He's like, oh, that's why my dad was asking me that. My aunt's dead. That's funny. No, it's not funny. That's pretty sad. So anyway, he grows an enormous pair of balls, and he goes up and he murders his aunt, who's already dead, with the pickaxe that he took from his friend. He just runs up to his aunt and kills her with it, you know? Again, a pretty casual thing. Not the most exciting, but, you know, exciting enough. No, that's plenty exciting. But yeah, so that happens. And then they find out a couple days later that I think it was 3 students died in the fire. No one too important, but they still they died. The events stop once again, and life goes back to about as normal as it can get in a place like this. So yeah, that's the basic plot. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the basic stuff. And you know, those plot twists, I'm sure I forgot a few too, but those are the things that kept me up at night, not because of fear, but just because there was so much to think about, and I was trying to piece these things together in my head to figure out why things were the way they were, what was about to happen, what was happening. You know, it's just so, it gives you so much to think about, and it's just it does a great job at doing that. And yeah, so now my thoughts from before I think are totally justified now. I think you guys, if you've read this series, I'm sure you probably agree with a lot of it. And also, if you've read the series, let me know what you think down in the comments of it. I'd love to have some discussions with you guys about the series. And yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. But anyways, I'm gonna get going now so I can read my manga that I got yesterday, as well as just some normal stuff. You know, it's summer. I have things to do. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys next time.